Hey traders, what's up? Mike here with the watch list video for Thursday, April 11th. The SPY gap down today, but I'm going to show you, if you didn't trade it, I'm going to show you 5-minute candles. Total chop fest, right? Gap down, started to climb, took out the low of day, went to new highs, went to new lows, and look what here, like when it broke to new lows, you'd think a bunch of people said, okay, this market's in trouble. Then it rips back up and did this the rest of the day. It really felt like algos were the only ones trading the SPY. Anyway, having said that, I'm pretty proud of this call I made today in Wave. If you can picture it without today's candle, we had the big rip and then the quiet inside day, right? So we had it on watch for a third day play. I've got a screenshot, it kind of explaining the call I made today. There's the call I made. It said this was a screenshot from chat. Wave over 329, which was the high of day, has yesterday's high above at 343. The implication is yesterday's high at 343, which is close, could be another catalyst for higher prices. We like stacked catalysts. So this was the entry, that 329 idea, 329 break. And see how close yesterday's high was, that horizontal line from right there. And it just went through that and absolutely ripped. And of course, an important ingredient of that is that this is a recent high flyer. So ended up being a really nice little trade there. I'm going to throw this over in case somebody's seeing my videos for the first time. The short version is I'm a day trader, so I focus on in-play stocks, recently in play, but I only trade intraday and I'm in cash every night. So we look to make money between the bells, if you will, right? Between the morning, the opening and closing bell. So what are we watching for tomorrow that's going to meet that description of an in-play stock? NA, even though it closed about where it opened, that's going to go on a chart tomorrow. ADIL. Had the gap up. I didn't use my chart with the 200-day on it, but the 200-day is right about here. So it kind of topped there. And after hours, it actually, I believe it went higher. Trading at 243 right now, though. But I think it went up and actually took out the high of day for a little bit in after hours. Who knows if that's going to be a factor. But I do want to watch that tomorrow. They had a nice headline. BSGM, an inside day after yesterday's big move. We're going to watch that one. Even though Wave closed way off its highs, it's been an in-play stock, so I'm going to put it on a chart. GCTS, which doesn't look like much at all, but on day one, it went to 56 bucks. Then a few days, 4 days later, it went down to 5. So crazy stock. And you look at the daily and say, why is this on the list? But if I show you 5-minute candles, look at that big rip it had in the middle of the day, right? Late morning-ish. When I see that, and we traded this one the other day in pre-market, I already know this thing can move, and so I'm a day trader, so it goes on a chart, right? So let's keep our eyes on that one tomorrow collectively. ACRV looked very toppy after the gap up yesterday and closed below its open, but then today is kind of hanging in there. So we're going to put that one back on watch. HYMC, gold miner, is kind of flagging after that big push, so we're going to watch that one. LAC, just sideways action, but certainly interesting if it can break out above that. All right, so that one goes on watch. HUBC. Should have had on bounce watch coming to today, but I didn't. Had that 2-day rip and then a 2-day pullback, but really nice pop today. So maybe a follow through day tomorrow. ICCT, nice pop today. Little weird action intraday because it was on our gap playlist. Gapped up and then sold off and went kind of along the low of day all afternoon till the last half hour, and then it ripped. So anyway, because it ripped, now we've got a nice little breakout. So we watch tomorrow for a second day play. ACB, I wanted to throw one pot stock on there, and that one's holding up pretty well. XTIA, just trying to curl back up. It was a mention on some news program that I heard Benzinga say. Somebody mentioned this as a possible short squeeze candidate. I'm not in love with the chart. It's trading at 290 in after hours, so anyone who chased it in after hours is in trouble. But I'm going to keep it on a chart because it had this nice 3-day pop, then the pullback, and it's starting to curl back up, right? I don't really give a lot of weight to what's going on in after hours. Lulu, I'm not sure this should be on bounce watch, but anyway you slice it, it's fallen from 480 down to 350 in about 3 weeks. So I still think one of these days, if we get a proper bounce play set up, I think it could give like an afternoon short covering bounce, right? My favorite scenario would be a narrow range all day, and then in the afternoon breaking out of that narrow range to the upside. So let's collectively watch that one tomorrow too. DXYZ, crazy range on this one. I'll hover over this candle. Look at the range. It went 64 to 105 a couple days ago. So today is actually a fairly narrow range and was still about $14 in range. So and it topped at the whole number 60. So that could come into play tomorrow too. Certainly one of my top watches tomorrow, just because it can move the way it does. DJT, back here, and I'll give you that. Let's see, March 19th, this bottomed at 32.10, and it's been straight down ever since, getting close to that. So maybe if we get an intraday sell-off down to that level, I'll start watching for an intraday setup, all right? But I am going to treat it like a bounce play. OUST was on the bounce play watch list yesterday, and I'd said I'd really like one more red day down into that zone between the 8 and the 20. Well, we got it today. So I like it more today than I did yesterday. Stays on the bounce play list. CADL, after that huge move, kind of a narrow range today. We'll see if it's going to, it's found some support, and maybe it turns back up tomorrow. VERI, crazy strong from here to here, and now we finally got 2 red days down into the 20 days, so it's a decent bounce play setup. And then KSS, I'm probably going to, there's just, I don't know. I'm going to take that one off the list. You maybe throw it on a chart and keep an eye on it, but it's below all the moving averages. I just was looking for an oversold bounce. I don't know. Keep it on the list, take it off. I'm taking it off my list. Plenty to watch, and then let me throw Rent up there. It's popping in after hours, so there's the daily. Had earnings, closed at 740. As I'm talking to you, it's at 1140. So that one, if it's still gapping in the morning, is going to be on our gap play list. It went up to 1290 so far in after hours. So anyway, possible gapper there tomorrow. And as always, we'll add other gappers together in the pre-market. And let's work together and find some good setups tomorrow. All right, I'm done babbling. We'll see you in chat.